Thank you so much for staying tuned to this station for this morning's edition of This Morning on ITV. You can call it TMI. I am Wilson Marshall. Like what I said in course of opening this show for this morning, is all about the state of the nation. Yes, the political activities, political events, political upheaval, so to speak, in some climes. Do Nigerians have anything to fear? Should Nigerians start panicking? Or should we just keep saying that all is definitely well no matter what is happening right now? Will we have a way to really get out of this situation? And no matter what, whether party A, party B, party C, they have each other's throats, it's not going to affect the populace negatively. Now, that is what we'll be taking a look at on today's installment. You get to hear about one defecting of party A to party P, and one other also defecting of party P to party A. You know what I'm talking about? Just sharing, you know. And of course, we have a president of the Red Chamber, the speaker of the Green Chamber. It's like they're just at each other's throat. So with all this thing happening, and with 2019 approaching with great momentum, what should Nigerians be expecting? With me here in the studio, I have analysts that will do their best to throw more light on this. Mind you, whatever they say is their own opinion. It has nothing to do with ITV Radio, but do our best to make sure that they speak within the ambient of the rules governing the airwaves. Join me, welcome Nathaniel Osamide, a political analyst, an entrepreneur, a businessman, an agriculturist, you just name it, a human rights activist. We talk about local and international politics. Is well grounded. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
It's been a while.
Yes.
Welcome. All right.
Necessary backseat.
Necessary backseat. Okay, sitting close to him, I have a very vibrant youth, a young man, political analyst, a businessman, an entrepreneur. When we talk about local and international politics, he is well grounded. Join me, welcome Desmond Ricosa. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I appreciate your coming.
Thank you.
It's been like eons. And of course, sitting close to Desmond, I have yet another Desmond. Should I call him now the bigger Desmond or Desmond?
Desmond Square.
Okay, Desmond Square. Yeah, he was one time vice chairman of a local government, and also acting chairman also one time of that local government. He is a legal practitioner. I wonder why he's refusing to practice. Yeah, he's an agriculturist also. He's an entrepreneur. When we talk about politics, he's deep into politics, both local and international politics. He is well grounded, and you should just get to hear him talk at times. Sometimes you get to wonder, can you see a personality that can most time talk dispassionately? Sometimes he talks the way people feel. He doesn't really want to base it on party line. He just tell you, this is where I feel, is my own opinion. That's his own person. Please join me, welcome Honorable Desmond Ugbo. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Okay. We've been seeing so many events and activities unfolding in recent times. Politically speaking, it's like the atmosphere is charged, and Nigerians are somewhat apprehensive. Where would all this lead us to? 2019 is fast approaching. It's all about the state of the nation. You see some individuals leaving party A to party P, from party P to another party, AD. It just keeps on going. You see the Red Chamber is very, very hot. The Green Chamber is very, very hot. You get to see politicians. You get to see heads of government, of state, talking about governors now. It's like the fight is somehow deafening. You see these parties at each other's throats, aiming for the jugular, going for, will I put it now? Anyway, let's leave it at there. Nathaniel, I want to start off from you. What do you feel about this?
Well, it has become a kind of common feature with Nigerian politics to experience this kind of upheaval, this kind of, well, if you might call it a tumult. kind of evolution whenever we have an impending presidential election or national election ahead. The issue is Nigerian kind of politics or political practice is a little bit, it's peculiar, not a little bit, it's peculiar to Nigeria because of who we are, what we are, because of our beliefs, because of what we have accepted, the larger Nigerian society. So our politics for some time will continue to pass through this process. Because at the end of the day, what governs our politics is not ideology. What governs our politics is not based on any philosophy. Even we tend to pretend that we are copying a philosophy that has been proven, that has been practiced and proven to be successful in other part of the world. But when it comes to Nigeria, because of our peculiarity, there is always a problem. It doesn't seem to work out well. So I have always believed, I've always said, the Nigerianness in us is such that our politics, our way of life will continue to go through a process of evolution until there is a blowout. And when that blowout happens, the process itself will produce the best for this country. Now, you see a lot of movement, like you rightly said. It calls for apprehension. I am apprehensive also. Now, what is going to happen in 2019? Now, with all this, you see, men at the highest level of governance, men who have powers that mortal may dream to have before they die. They have such powers, and yet they are not satisfied. So you now begin to wonder, why such tendency? Why such greed? Why such deep-rooted ambition for personal interest? So to me, Nigerians have nothing to fear. The system will overheat. It's like an electrical connection. When there is overheating, what happens? There will be a blowout. The fuse will burn. And once the fuse burns, there will be no light. So you have to do a reconnection. You have to change the fuse, and then light will continue again.
All right.
So I believe that what is happening right now, it is moving towards producing the best for this country. Because the greatest thing that has emerged, I've always harped on that here, it is mass participation. Nigerians at all levels are discussing the Nigerian politics. And that discussion is what is going to produce the best for this country. Unlike before, where we take a back seat, everybody's talking about what is happening in Nigeria. And that consciousness is building up to a crescendo that will lead to a situation where the best will gradually emerge from the evolution that is taking place.
Okay, thank you so much for that wonderful opening. He gave an analogy of what happens if a current passing through wire is overheated. The fuse tend to burn off. Now that is the fear of so many Nigerians. After the burning off of things of a sort, there will be darkness before reconnection. Okay, let me leave that there. I'll come back to you on that. Desmond, what's your take?
Thank you once again for having me. Personally, I think what is going on is it's not just a move in the right direction, but it's also a situation we must look critically as a people and then ask ourselves basic questions like, where do we exactly go from here? If you say the polity is heating up, you are not out of place. It is. Now, that will give rise to basic questions like, what exactly led to the heat up? After the heat up, what next? And that will take us to basic, sound bites like the people, are they in the equation of this heat up? Or is just a calculated attempt to do what has been done before, and then everybody goes back home to sleep for another 4 years, then we converge? For me, the back and forth is what we should now look critically. It is healthy for democracy because democracy is basically a government that is run by people, not a few, majority of the people. So if you are saying, looking at the Nigerian politics as it is today, First of all, we must ask ourselves, is there an ideology behind these movements? Do we have institutions to back up these movements? If we can begin to see from that angle, then we'll be making a headway. Because if we don't have ideologies, if we don't have institutions, then it means these movements are for a selfish aim. Well, I don't want to sound politically correct here, but I want to say without fear of favor that, like the philosophers will say, what serves us ourselves shall be last served. If you are benefiting from a process, and today the process is no longer in your favor, and you are crying foul, then it gives cause for worry and concern. You were happy when it happened against others yesterday, and today it's now against you. You are angry. Why? For me, I want the Nigerian youths to stand up and take advantage of these movements now, because this is the best time to come on board and then say, while you are struggling, while you are fighting and struggling for yourself, not for us. Because we should have led this fight, not you.
All right, we should have led this fight, not you. And from what you said, it's okay that it's happening, but some set of persons should cash in on it. I'll come back to you on that. Honorable, since we have another despot, I have to be calling you honorable right now, so to create that distinct personality between you two. So you've heard both of them, they've spoken.
Yes, they've spoken well. You know, this climate, the country we are in, one begin to wonder if actually we are practicing democracy to the later. The truth remains that the major actors, those that we have elected to drive the democracy, are egocentric. They are self-serving, because defection, cross-carpeting is part and parcel of democracy, of politics. It's allowed. But the question we are asking is that, what is the reason behind this defection? Is it born out of the people's yearnings and aspiration? Is it born out of your own personal wish and aspiration? That should be the question we must provide answers to. That in 2014 we saw a group of people felt they were dissatisfied with the running of the nation and the government, and they decided to pitch tent with an amalgamation of political parties to form a government that was out to right the wrongs of the previous government. I am sure when the formation of a new party was made, they should have sat down to put pen on paper and identify those areas that the people felt they were no longer comfortable with. What led to the people asking for a change, and that gave birth to that change mantra. The actors who came out to drive the change should have tell the country, prove to the people that they are actually out to bring about the change, by making sure that we don't go back to Egypt, by making sure that those observed abnormalities from the maladministration, as it was then called, so that history will not repeat itself negatively. They came to a party, they started at the beginning. It became a situation where one began to wonder, is this a strange bedfellows cohabiting? Because when two people have different ideology, the result is that there will be chaos. The center cannot hold. I don't know among the group of persons that form the government that originally has the change in their heart. I don't know. Because Mr. A was accusing Mr. B of not being effective in bringing about the change that was well preached to the nation. Mr. B was also accusing Mr. A that no, that is not the change we talked about. Now, how many of our lawmakers, whom originally we voted for, from the constituency, come back home to consult with their constituents? That look, this is the next line of action. This is what we are discussing over there. What is your take? Because the government is about the people, not about yourself. But the quest by those we have elected to represent us to amass wealth, strangulate the economy, so that the people can remain perpetually poor, so that they will come cap in hand begging. Instead of we the people taking decisions, they are not taking decisions for us. For those who have decided to quit and go to other platform, probably to practice that which he had been preaching, which Mr. A didn't take. I don't know if any one of them has also went back to their people to ask, where do we go from here? I want to tell you that the politics we are playing in this country is politics of myself, I, and for me.
All right. Now, he just concluded his own opening by saying that the policies we are playing right now in this country, according to him, is for self-aggrandizement. Is that the reason why we're experiencing this turmoil, so to speak, in our political terrain?
Largely, I agree with him. Because, you know, the most unfortunate thing about our representative is that they don't represent us, but they represent themselves. What is behind all this movement is not for the sake of the people. It is personal ambition, personal satisfaction, personal growth. That is why I said, when you see people have risen to the position of governors, the president of the Senate, the speaker of the House of Representatives, what else in the Nigerian political landscape, if God has so blessed you, kept you alive and enabled you to reach that position, what else is in the Nigerian political landscape that you want to grab? How do you want to represent the people more than that? And then when you see such people begin to cross carpet, it tells you there is something fundamentally wrong. There is, like I said in my opening gambit, Nigerian politics is not governed by ideology. There is no philosophy. Tell me, which of the political parties have a manifesto that Nigerians are familiar with? In the days of UPN, it was free education. Free education. And then MPN said qualitative education. It's not going to be free. You will pay a token, we will give you qualitative education. And then the GMPP said politics without bitterness. Housing for all. I want to ask you, Winston, today you reviewed the newspapers before we came in. How many of the political parties, ABGA, APC, PDP, name them, how many of them have manifesto that is on the lips of every Nigerian? So what governs our politics is greed. The reason why you see this movement, this turmoil, is not to satisfy the constituency. Like Honorable Bo said, how many of these representatives go back to their people to consult with them? I am telling you, most of this movement you are seeing today is they inform their constituency, this is what we are going to do, not how do we approach this issue. Until we have an ideologically based politics, until we have politics that is governed by manifesto, that is governed by passion to get certain things happen, to pass certain things across, either from the red chambers or the green chambers, or from the table of an executive governor. Until we get that, until we see that in the Nigerian politics, we could not have a problem. Let me tell you, about 20 something years back, if you subtract 22, 23 years from the ages of the current governors, speakers, honorable members in the House of Reps, senators, you will see that they were in their early 30s, or some of them late 30s, when Babangida decided to do away with the old brigade. When he said this, we have had political position before we come on board. The structure was handed over to a youthful generation as at that time. The youthful generation, almost 3 decades back, that Babangida handed over the politics of this country to are the current governors, the current speakers, the current senators, and members of the House of Reps. The way generation of youth. What have they been able to make out of the Nigerian politics? They just copy, it's just like saying a chip of the old block. They are perpetuating what has been in existence. And even today, I keep on asking myself, what is the philosophy that puts Nigerian youths together? From the coastal states of Bayelsa, Cross River, to the fringes of the Sahara Desert, in Borno, Maiduguri, Sokoto, Kebbi, and the rest of them. What is the national philosophy that binds our youths? What is the clarion call the youth wants to take over? Under which ideology?
Okay.
So I agree with you. Everything we are seeing today is selfishness. Look at how some governors have personalized the governance of a state. People come together, they vote you in as a governor. Then at the end of the day, you turn your back on the people. You become Mr. Know-all. You don't listen to people. There are you don't, the political space has become squeezed.
Okay.
And made more difficult for people to participate.
All right.
There are no comforting words. There are no words of encouragement. It's like I'm the chief executive. The whole of you can go to hell.
Watch your language now. Watch your language now. Watch that last part. Hold on to your emotions, please. Nobody is going to hell here. I know you're trying to make an analogy. I understand, but you are on air. Now, he has spoken at length, breaking out issues, talking about Bangida's regime handing over to a certain group of persons in their youthful age, but still they're like chips of the old block. And he also talked about wire getting overheated, the fuse getting blown up. Is that what we are approaching right now in our political terrain?
Well, first of all, you see, I'm very happy with the way the climate has become, because everybody is now speaking with one voice. And for me, that is a step in a very good direction. It is a robust engagement now. That's now got nothing to do with party. I remember the last time I was here on air, I said these things that we are experiencing today, very soon, across party lines, across every strata, we'll begin to see that we now have a common enemy, which is poverty, underdevelopment, bad governance. He made mention of the youths in government in the past. For me, the youths then were aware and they were prepared, so they got involved. But the youths today, you know, I think there needs to be some work done, because we seem to have abandoned, you know, our primary aim of being young people amongst, you know, the populace. As young people, we must take the bull by the horn. Young people are those that get these things done. You see, I don't want anybody to bamboozle the young people to think they can no longer do it, or those that have come before them made a mistake. No. If you look at it, we still remain the driving force of the economy. Trust me, the day the young man, the young woman on the street realizes his position, Aristotle said, man, know thyself. The very day the young man in Benin, like he said, in tandem with the young man or young woman in Bayelsa and Kano and Sokoto begin to speak in one voice, trust me, there will be no defections anymore. What you will now begin to see is, what are the young people saying? Do they want us here or there? But for now, because they know we are not interested, and that is why these things will continue to go. You see, I don't want to appear to be ambiguous here. I don't want to appear to confuse people I'm speaking to, and even myself. These issues are very simple issues. And I will say it again here. Maybe you might call me a prophet this time around. I will say it again here. The very day all young people will begin to speak in one voice, trust me, this heat will calm down.
The heat will calm down.
Yes, because my speakers have just made very salient points as to what the problem is. But I think we need to emphasize on where we need to get this problem, into a solution board. The problem is clear, so I don't need to now start going into all those details. But where the crux of the solution is what I'm emphasizing to you now. Who are the people, in the social media, in the workforce, just name it. How many just recently you now find our old men trying to tweet and go on Instagram and all. The information comes from us. So if you ask me, we need to come and harmonize. Look, these situations, yes, as big as they may appear, as critical as they may be, the solutions are there, staring us in the face. Let's just wake up and grab it. I tell you something, let me shock you. The Nigerian population has more than 65% made up of young people between the voting age, 18 to 45 or 18 to 40 as the case may be. 65%. Now if you draw a pie chart and you remove 65% from that pie, what is left? Youth we're talking about now, which means you're not leaving the men and the women to struggle for the remaining 35. So 65% of the population cannot come together and say, you know what, thank you for this movement, but this is not exactly what we want. Can you do this, and this? If you cannot, forget about it. But you see, because of the level of poverty, it is biting hard that young people now think with their stomach instead of their brains. Young people now do the things they should do last, and the things they should do last first. I don't understand how on earth a young man can be offered 10,000 naira to sell his vote. I don't understand that.
2005.
Get up to 10,000.
2000.
You see, I want to make it 10,000 because
I'll give you some
I've heard it's as low as 1,000, 2,000, but to me that is impossible. 10,000 naira to sell your votes for 4 years, and then you call yourself a young man. Trust me, let me also analyze this for you. If you were 18 as when they gave you 10,000 naira, by the time they are coming back, you'll be 22. So why would you waste your life in that manner?
The 4 years were 2,000.
Do you understand? So, look, like I was talking to a group of young people recently. I said, it will interest you to know that personally I took it as a challenge to sit down with other young men to design a model to stop vote buying. We will unveil that and unfold it when the time comes. These things must be, it is a canker that will destroy our democracy forever. It's like going going to the ballot in the US, France, or the UK, and then somebody is telling you to take £100. I don't understand. They will look at you and say, is this guy sick? You see, we need to begin to criminalize and isolate a few things that we think is normal. It is not normal.
All right. It's not normal. Now, it's like they're heaping the blames on the older generation and, of course, on the youths. Honorable, what's your take on this? Is it the youth's problem, or is it the elderly problem, or it cuts across board? That's why we are experiencing this upheaval in our political terrain. It's like the tension is getting so high, and nobody is seeing the crescendo yet. You get to see some persons being chased, some persons being interrogated, some persons being locked out of their complex, some other persons being threatened to be impeached. It's becoming more and more worrisome. So does it cut across line? Elderly and the youths.
Thank you very much. The Bible says righteousness exalt a nation, while sin bring reproach. Let us ask ourselves, are our leaders righteous, and yet we are still in this mess? No electricity, no employment. Poverty is now the second name of an average Nigerian. Now, if you look at the two words, righteousness and sin, which will you choose as best befitting the situation that we are in. That is sin. We commit sin as a politician, telling the people lies every day, and we are expecting God to bless us. The food we cook as a politician, as leaders, they don't eat from it. They cook certain food for the nation, for the citizenry, and what they eat is a different thing entirely. Now let us ask ourselves, if the pains actuated by the past government as they so preached, or the current crop of people who are still perpetuating fraud and corruption, if it is true that our leaders, they are mindful of what they tell us, and they are also mindful of what they give us, how come they keep campaigning with the same message? I will bring electricity. In this 21st century, there will be employment, there will be this and that. How many times have all these leaders come together to say what is really the problem of our country? How do we provide solution to all this? How many times? There is no clear-cut political ideology. If we have about 75 political parties as it is now, none of them has a manifesto as to say, when we come, there will be housing, there will be free education, there will be employment, children of school age will go to school, their bags, their school uniform and books will be provided by the government. How many? That tells you that Nigeria and indeed the political actors are still playing themselves. I'm very sorry, I'm a politician.
Don't be sorry.
But are you sorry for being a politician?
The truth is that
all right.
The problem with our leaders, majority of them, is that some of them behave as if they win a sweepstake. Haven't gotten to the position.
Honestly.
The other day you begin to see them having an enemies. Whereas when they were asking for votes, everybody were one and the same. Is it a crime to put you in power? Is it a crime that you must work for us? So the essence of voting people into government is to deliver the much dividends of democracy. Let me come to the issue of vote buying. Do you know that vote buying has destroyed our democracy? The reason why you see these people misbehaving is that when the time comes, they will buy your conscience. Because there is nothing that will affect everybody now that they have done. It's only when they provide that thing that affects everybody that we can collectively say, okay, this person provided this or that, let us vote on this basis. Nothing to tag them for, nothing to vote for them with, because they have so strangulated everybody, and that when the time comes they are bringing money, so let me collect my own, because I vote, I don't vote, they will win. So the situation we are in is that the politics of today is money bag politics. That is where it will be very, very difficult for the youth to get there. And even the youth who ought to have stand out to speak out,
collecting the money,
they are colluding. They are now praise singers, psychophone praise singers. Because the youth ought to have sit down and think that, look, when these people started, I'm aware when Al-Duobe started, was around 30-something years ago.
Yes.
Today, he's a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If you go to the Senate, 75% of the senators are former governors. Whereas these former governors must have served and worked retired.
8 years.
They entered the government house, they spent 8 years, and eventually they now come to Senate. what idea of those days can best solve the problem of today. I think the youth, it is right time they come out to purge themselves of the sins that our leaders are committed and they draw them into it. Many of them have now acquired the enemies of their so-called leaders. And the same enemy they acquire now are now starting to becloud their sense of reasoning. So it is very unfortunate that if you check the social media, majority of the people peddling false rumor, praising are the youth.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, I'm contented. For me, I believe that the best to do when you occupy a position is to make a difference. And that difference must be positive, not negative.
All right. Must be positive, not negative. Now, from what you're saying, doesn't cut across age limits.
No.
It's just the youths, the youths, the youths. Yeah. By saying that it's the youth, have you been so fair on them? For what they are saying right now, all the promises being made by our leaders, they've not been fulfilled. Like what all of you rightly pointed out, you talk about poverty, talk about lack, talk about want, talk about infrastructural decay. On what foundation should the youth really stand on if these things are not available?
Well, first and foremost, the youth have life in them. They have strength, they have energy.
Life without foundation, life without strength, life without job, life without financial strength, life without sense of belonging.
What's your blood pressure?
I'm not listen, because I have to speak from their angle, because this is one thing you have to ask this question. So you tell me, so what is really happening? How is it their fault?
It is their fault because they refuse to take a step forward to change the situation on ground. Let me tell you one thing. I told you a while ago. I said those of them who are in the red or green chambers, who are governors, when Babangida was the president of this country, and decided that enough of the old men. Anybody who had held a political position in the past was disqualified from contesting election.
And Babangida wasn't a youth then.
He was a young man.
But he wasn't a youth.
Wait a minute.
He was the head of state before he took that stand. Why can't the leaders take this stand?
Wait a minute. You see, let us get this discussion in the right perspective.
Yeah.
Let us bring out perspectives from this issue so that we actually know where we stand. Now, when he said that, I said those who are currently occupying position of power, those in the corridors of power, they were young men. 25 years subtracted from the ages of all these people. See, most of them were in their early 30s. Now, when the youth, yes, has been pauperized, and the situation is even getting worse. And I want to know what is going on. I was telling somebody last night, just like the SAP riot was spontaneous, no message was sent around, no civil liberty organization preached. It was not Festus Iyayu, it was not Beko Ransom Kuti, it was not late Gani Faweni. Nigeria just got tired of the situation and there was a spontaneous response. Remember, there were times in the history of this country where the masses were throwing stones, stoning the vehicles of those in the corridors of power, even Babangida, as they drive along the street. So it is one thing I asked a while ago, why the youth are agitating? It is our time because we are supposed to take over the destiny of our own destiny, our own hands, by making ourselves available for governance. I have said, what is the rallying point of youth in this country? You want to take over leadership. Under what ideology? Under what philosophy? Who is the beacon of the youth? Who are they as? Who is bringing them together? Sowore is doing a very good job. He's made himself available. He's going around from one state to the other. Visionary leadership. I see his billboard posters all over the place. Now, how many beacons do you have like that in the 36 states of the Federation? Where is the national umbrella? Is it the National Youth Council that is politicized? That is, who goes there, who becomes the president is decided. It is so bad wasting that even student union election in Uniben here is sponsored by government.
Of course.
Student union in Auchi Polytechnic is sponsored by government. So for God's sake, which truth are you talking about? And where is the philosophy that is bringing them? What is the round table? What is the catching phrase? What is the catching word that Nigerian youths are embracing? But you think tomorrow they'll be able to galvanize themselves into action to take over power. People are just exposed. Go to the social media. You will weep at comments being made by some of these youth. Some of them are just crazy. You read some comment on the social media, you say, is this person insane? Look at what is happening now. A young man graduates at the age of 25. He's at home for 5 years, he has no job. And all of a sudden he's 30. And government advertised for job and put the limit at 28 years. Now, the young man is already 30. He graduated at 25. He has spent 5 years at home, no job. Already the system has excluded him from any future employment. Now that he's 30, he graduated at 25. There is no consideration for the fact that he has been at home for 5 years without a job. Let's leave that. What plan has the government for such a young man who is now 30 that can no longer be employed by it? What plan? Okay. Now, a lot of Nigerian youth have found themselves in that situation. All right. What are they doing about it? Good question. Are they making noise? Are they saying you have relegated us? Some of them, before you know, the parents will say, there is no job. You are becoming an old man. You are becoming an old woman. You better go and marry. What will be the future of the children produced by such group of people? Good question. Now, you just hold on. I will come back to you. He talked about the youth being unavailable, that they are not ready. But towards the end, he now think at the government. 25, 5 years, exclusion 25. So let's say from 30, there is no plan by the government according to his own analysis. In this regard, we have youths also becoming praise singers. We have youths also protecting these politicians. These are our fathers, these are our leaders, these are the chair, you just can't harm them. We have youths also being used to carry out all these nefarious activities for these politicians, and yet you are heaping the blame on the elders. Is it, or are the elders now responsible for putting the youths where they are right now? Because you talked about youths taking over.
Yes.
How is it going to be possible?
Yeah, it is very, very possible. I can safely tell you this, it is possible, it will be possible, and we will do it. Let me quickly say this here. The youths are already stranded with the way the elders have skewed the constitution to their favor.
With the help of the youths.
But this time around, there's going to be a redirection. You see, just recently, I was a part of those that engineered the not too young to run bill in Abuja. And it will interest you to know that we are making progress. Because the problem is a system problem. It was put in the system to skew you out as a young man. You see what my brother here just made mention of, you know, with the employment and all. Those are all system problems. You will not know, but when you get there, you find out it's a problem, then you become unemployed. Now, my point is very simple. It is a deliberate attempt by young people to take this power. It will not be served a la carte or as a buffet for you. It has never been served in that manner. The not too young to run bill, if you look at it, it is a step, but it is not all we are looking for. When the bill was signed by Mr. President, you can imagine him telling the young people that came to bring the bill for him that, but don't run against me. For me, I don't understand the way these people think. You don't run a government as your personal property. Having signed the bill, if you are worthy of the votes of the young people.
But he was just joking in that regard.
Whether jokes, he was just joking. You need to say when you joke, sometimes you tell the truth. If you were joking about that, then the truth was embedded in it. He embellished it inside it. You see, that bill having been signed, now we're asking ourselves, you are not too young to run now. So go to the political parties and go and run and see if you can run. The answer is no, you can't. You see? So that is why I said it is a system problem. But guess what? It will interest you to know that there are some young men and women who are also deliberately burning the candles, and I'm one of them, to quietly unbundle and unravel this skewed system so that the young people can quickly come in. I can safely tell you now that there will be a National Day of Action on the 8th of August. And what are the young people asking for? three basic things. One, if you say you're a political party, you want the youth to get involved in your party, how much are you selling your party for? You see, he just mentioned something just like a 25-year-old man who doesn't get a job. Now he's 35 years after. Okay, let's say he wants to go and run. The law now says at 25 you can run for House of Assembly. He wants to go and run for House of Assembly. Does he have the money your party has put to buy the tickets?
The form.
So where do you expect him to get the money? You should go and steal. And you say you want youth inclusiveness. So you see, I said it is a system, it was calculatively put in place by those at the helms of affair to edge the young people out. So the young people are now also saying, okay, since you sat down deliberately to craft this, we also sit down deliberately to uncraft it. Now, we are making three demands. You will reduce your party nomination forms. Two, you will allow young people a certain amount or numbers of the legislative seat, because my brother here made a very salient point with regards to representation. You will give me a little time to say one or two on this. Representation of the people is key to governance and democracy. The problem of this country is primarily laid in the three arms of government, especially the legislative and the executive arm. Because those that are being represented don't even know why they are represented. And those that are representing others are representing for the wrong reasons, for their personal reasons. Now, the third demand is, if you are not going to address the needs of these young people, you may as well be kissing your votes goodbye. But you see, they will say, okay, let's see, on that day we are going to buy the votes. We're also crafting a model to stop you from purchasing votes. So by the time these things are now put in place, these people now begin to understand that, oh, some people are thinking. While we are thinking, they are thinking. If you have a plan A to plan Z, we have a plan A to plan Z and beyond. Because we need to deliberately get involved. I will not be a party to those that are lamenting as young people. The future of this country still lies with us, whether you like it or not. We are the next generation. Some people will say, oh, the youths are the leaders of tomorrow. I like that phrase. Because if you go to some party circle now, they'll say, have you seen the leader? And I ask them, who are the leaders? The youths are the leaders. If you say, have you seen the leader? You come to see the youth. Seriously? That is the truth. Seriously? You come to see the youth. But now it is the other way around. For me, I should see what we call leaders, they should be addressed as elders. Okay. Because the leaders really of tomorrow are the youth. Okay. So if you want to do anything in this country, henceforth, you come and be seeing the youth. We are the leaders. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Have you seen the leaders?
Of course, of course.
All right. Yes, because right now people are like, still thinking and they are watching. Many are apprehensive. But from what all of you are like, saying right now in the studio is the chunk of the matter, so to speak, lies on the shoulders of the youth. And you're talking about youth. According to some claims, or in some claims in this country, they have nothing to really hold on to. They are doing what they can, according to them, in quote now, to survive. They have to, what you call, dobale for the leaders to survive. They have to say up chair to survive. And these chairs are with the lodges. So if that is the case, how do you think things will become better if this trend continues? How can it be broken? Because it's like it has taken hold of the system, politically speaking.
Well, firstly, it has to start with self-discipline among the youth. They should be contented with the little they have to start with. Let me tell you, before 1999, to campaign, you need salt, bag of salt, you need onions to visit a group of people. After 1999, they started with the use of thugs and courtists. If you are not a courtist, you will not get nomination. If you are not to give you nomination, you must be taken to the backyard
To take a note.
to take an oath. And that is how we saw Ngige and Mba Okija Shirai Saga. But that is not the issue now, because many people will go to swear and still will do what they have in mind.
Exactly.
So gradually, I'm very sure that we are progressing, but the progressive space is slow.
And now it's money.
Now they now bring in money.
Yeah, exactly.
And this money, what's money involved in a thing? To remove money from it, it's not easy. So that is my fear. One political party started it.
Yeah.
The other political party now begin to teach the other one how to do it better.
Perfect.
You don't use fire to quench fire. You use water to quench fire. I can't be doing the same thing in retaliation to right what you did wrong. Instead, I will do it the better way that the people will like. That is the problem with our politics. I can't say Mr. A was doing it. We will teach you how to do it.
Exactly.
We will tell you that we are in charge. That is not a good promise. I begin to wonder how many of these political parties in other countries do we know their national chairman?
Okay.
True.
Okay.
Are you telling me that Cameron David doesn't have a party,
Party leader.
or doesn't have a party chairman or party leaders? Do you know them? But in our time, the first thing is to know the leader.
An old man.
And who is this leader? One old tele. He has been there right from the beginning of that country. So until we begin to do away with that, I also have the retirement as a solution. Once you shall retire, let another person take over. For you to start as a councillor,
Chairman.
you graduate to chairman to House of Assembly, House of Assembly to House of Rep, House of Rep to House of Senate and Governor. Like that, you remain perpetually in power. To tell you that the system is very bad. If you are outspoken and you are in government, that will be your first shot and the last.
Yes.
They won't allow you go there again.
Who never.
And you cannot easily now tell if you see the person who was there, who was in position before, and is no longer there. You see it in his body, in his outlook. I think that is one thing we have got wrong. The emolument provided for political office holder is too outrageous, and we are trying to curb inflation. What is inflation? When there are so much money in circulation pursuing few goods, that is inflation. Today our money is no longer valued as it were before. What effort are our government putting in place to curb these rising ugly incidents? Nothing. When we come to power, instead of us to start organizing, now you now bring agony to the people. Enough of this lamentation. What brings about lamentation? Is it not your bad habit? I think it is our time that we begin to govern our people with the fear of God. What you don't want people to do to you, don't do it to others. Government and position is transient. It's not permanent.
It's not permanent.
So it is good that we begin to think and say, what do we do so that when we leave, people will now remember us? Because there are some leaders in time past who were elected or who were in position of authority. They did exceptionally well, and today we are making mention of them. There are some who will live there. Nobody will want to hear that name again. Exactly. They will succeed in killing their generation and the generation of their children. The chances of their children, they have demystified them. I think it is good that we come to reality, to terms with ourselves, that our approach to governance as it presently practiced is not the best approach. And that very soon, on election day, the lawmakers will also put it in the law that you can come with a trailer load of money as part of electioneering and electoral practices.
Nobody's doing that right now. Bring that as a law.
It's already happening because those who have been okay, let me tell you why it is happening. The National Assembly member or the lawmakers ought to have put law in place to punish those who are sharing money, and they should be seen to be punished. Know the paperwork. We are fighting corruption. Where are those people that we found corrupt that have been nailed? I'm fighting my mother's side. I'm fighting my father's side. Others are sent. Others are scapegoat. You don't do a thing like that. I think the best change, I am sure, that any government in power can bring to bear is that you start dealing with people right from those around you to serve as deterrent to others and to serve as a lesson to others who are coming from outside.
All right.
That will be the best way to go about it.
Okay. Like what is happening right now in the studio? Is that what you see happening outside the confines of the studios? Well, are no longer bothered about the party in power. They're talking about making this country better. Is that what is happening? If it's happening, why are we still having the situation?
Well, the consciousness is national, it's mutual, because hunger is hunger. And unfortunately, in the Nigerian context, we pursue the stomach first. So much, with so much vigor, rather than the spiritual and physical well-being of the body. It is not only when you feed the stomach that the physical body is well. And we say at death, the stomach is the first part of the body to burst. So eventually it's vanity. We are pursuing it. People have relegated name. Those days, names matter so much. Legacies matter so much. They ask you, who did you say is your father? And you mention it. The man that is asking has a story to tell about you, who you are, where you are coming from, and where you are going to. Today, that is no longer there. People do things with impunity. The fear of God no longer governs the hearts of men. It is personal satisfaction. Let me tell you, where God is not feared and respected, the Bible says, if God is not the watchman, they that watch, they do what? They watch in vain. So, Nigerians have kept God aside. Unfortunately, even those in the clergy who talk about God, a lot of them, their fingers are leprous. Because clandestinely, overtly, covertly, or otherwise, they go to these people who are the cause of the problems we have today. They pray for them. Remember, a Christian organization prayed for a presidential candidate in this country. But at the end of the day, what does it amount to? It is only now you begin to see people talking about government on the altars. Even Muslim preacher. I watched one sheikh who was lambasting the president. He's a Muslim. So that is consciousness. It's unheard of for such a thing to happen in the Nigeria of the past. Now you see people angry on the altar talking about the current Nigeria situation. This was the same nation before they said Christians should not participate in politics. Now people are asking their members to go and register. Today we find a situation in which there is a consensus. I'm very much encouraged by Ugbo here because of the way he's talking. I've always said there is hope. I put a phrase on Facebook that there is hope for this country. And a lot of people were reacting. How can there be hope when there is this, when there is this, when there is that? That is the hope. The awareness, the consciousness. A man might not have a PhD in politics, but is very much aware. He's enlightened. Because all these things are happening around him. When you begin to feel the pang of hunger, the next instinct is to look for where food will come from. And when you are working, as at the end of the month, the first week of the next month, you are not being paid, your MD looks like something else before you. No respect for him. He walked past you, you might not even greet him good morning. Because what would have made you to respect him was the prompt payment of your salary. Now, since he's not doing that, what is the basis of your regard and respect for him? That is exactly what is happening right now. Wow. All those that have been in corridors of power have failed. You see, Nigerians are talking about issues. Those of them there are not talking about issues. Sorry, let me go personal now. In all that has been happening in the killings in Benue State, David Mark is one of the oldest senators in the Senate. And some people have accused him of having the biggest collection of heads in Benue State. How many statements do you accredit to him in the killings all over Benue? 0.
All right.
Let me tell you another thing further. No, let me say.
All right. Now, you know what? I love the word you use, accused. That means these are just allegations.
Yes, they are allegations. Yes.
Okay, fine.
I wanted to say.
No, hold on. I wanted to go beyond this. You know the reason.
I have not concluded.
I know, but you just have to stop. I have my reasons. Okay, now.
You think I'm going overboard? I am not.
Okay, now he talked about stomach infrastructure. That the stomach of Nigerians tend to lead the way in an election. How can we stop this?
Yeah, you see, first of all, I would say the book of lamentation was not written because of us. We are lamenting and lamenting and lamenting. We must quickly get to the drawing board. We should not continue to sit down and lament the problem. If not, solutions will not come. Where there are problems, there are corresponding solutions. All we need to do is to go to the drawing board and deliberately seek for those solutions. You see, you asked a very basic question, that what we are having here in the studio, is that what it's reflecting in the society today? And the answer is an emphatic yes. Yes, because like you rightly said, we are all from different political parties here. But if you notice, everybody has been speaking with one voice. For me, it's a wake-up call. This is gradually telling those at the helms of affairs that the time has come, the hour of the real change, positive change is coming. Because the Bible says, let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he falls. A lot of things that are happening today in our political ecosystem. It's as a result of the fact that the young people in the system have been ebbed out with what you call the stomach infrastructure. It's not just the young people now. It is everybody. You will go to the voting line and see old women, old men collecting the money. For me, I say, look, until this money becomes cost on you people's head, you will not stop. This money, this bribe. You say those at the top, they like bribe. You too, you like bribe. How do we stop this thing? You know, so that is already in the pipeline. Yeah. The design is going on, and we'll roll it out very soon. You know, but suffice you to know that the economy today, the political system today, has come to a halt. And everybody, the political watchers, the political actors, we have all now come to one conclusion. We must do something.
All right.
What we need to do, first of all, we must get involved. You cannot be doing something on social media and you are not putting yourself forward. For me, sitting back and lamenting is the greatest failure itself.
Right.
We must put ourselves forward.
Okay.
Take the bull by the horn and then make your own ideological impact present and known.
All right.
So that people can now begin to look up to you and say, when they said they came in, they effected a change, and now we need to queue behind them.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rikosa Desmond, for your summary, because that is your last line in this discussion. Honorable Desmond Ugbo, please, your last line.
Thank you very much. I think in the face of all this, we still have few people in the corridors of power who are doing well. It's so unfortunate that these few people are not encouraged. They should be encouraged. People should be encouraged to speak truth to power. People should be encouraged to challenge those in authority constructively. And once that one is done, you see them key into the system.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Desmond Ugbo. Honorable Nathaniel Osamede, your last line.
Yes, I'm encouraged from the way Rikosa has been speaking, and Ugbo, two of us are best of the same feather. There is hope for this country. Like Professor Hungary once said, There are islands of integrity in our political systems. What is left is for these islands of integrity to be connected. Once they are connected, there is synergy. They give room for effective change. So the greatest problem which I see in our politics is impunity. And we all must speak out against impunity. In our various political affiliations, whatever is not being done rightly, you must speak against it. Whether you are ostracized, whether you are considered for anything or not, a man should be able to go to bed with his conscience at peace with him. That you saw something wrong and you are able to speak against it. It gives you peace that no amount of money can buy.
All right.
And when we have that at the back of our mind, then the real change will take place.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. I appreciate your wonderful analysis. You've heard them. It depends on you. It depends on me. It depends on all of us to really bring about that true change Nigerians are seeking. So what are you going to do? It's up to you. Bye for now.